Good afternoon or good evening, everyone. My name is Louis Quaderno, and today I will be presenting a scientific presentation pertaining climate change and extinction and biodiversity loss, as well as population loss of many species, accordance to the book we read, Saving a Million Species. So just touch up on table of contents, talk about a little bit about the book, climate change itself, social effects, its effects on species, extinctions, population loss, and biodiversity, some other out of textbook evidence, and summary and discussion. So, general information about the book. The primary editor is Lee Hanna, and another author is Thomas Lovejoy. It was published in December 2011 by Island Press, where Lee Hanna effectively elaborated on the work of Thomas Lovejoy back in 2004 pertaining to how species get affected by climate change. The book definitely does an incredible job of providing specific evidences of climate change based extinctions as well as loss of population and biodiversity. Also, it discusses current projection of amount of species at risk and a lot of speculation beyond that and some of the issues it faces. So, climate change, global warming, it's essentially an increase in overall average global temperatures, which vary in different locations, but it has been increasing. Um, Biggest thing is there's a huge consensus in scientific society that anthropogenic factors significantly increase global warming rates through greenhouse effect and greenhouse gases getting trapped in the atmosphere that really heats up our surface of the earth essentially. And I'll definitely touch up on how it affects ecosystem and species across the biosphere on a couple next slides. So one of the themes of the book is initially it talks about how climate change studies social produces social effects, such as it really initially was not a big factor of decision making, but now it is a societal factor as far as government, and it definitely our leaders definitely considering it in public policy and decision making. It also highlights key scientific issues such as the lack of knowledge of species information, in a sense that we still have a lot to learn regarding ecological dynamics as far as how species react with their environment and with each other in response to changes in temperature, as well as general information how many actual species there are in the world, because currently we don't know exactly, and also just provides a metric on the fact that species are at risk because of the changing temperatures. Um, Climate change effects on species. The biggest thing is that exceeding physical heat tolerance causes either the species to adapt, which either migrate small distances, large distances. They experience a lot of loss of population, or inevitably go extinct. It really is variable depending on the species, on physical properties. Some species thrive, some don't, and some don't get affected by climate change at all. Um, One example are the birds, such as the El Oro parakeet, which are essentially moving up in higher elevation to cooler temperatures, but are having a lot of issues regarding it, not only because of the temperature changes, but because there are other anthropogenic factors causing them to lose population, such as deforestation, habitat fragmentation, and poaching. Another theme is on the book is the a lot of the evidence, like population loss and extinctions. So amphibians such as the golden toad, they definitely were extinct because of a certain fungal or bacterial virus that essentially got amplified due to the fact that temperature really helps it out. Also, lizard species in Mexico, their foraging abilities were significantly limited because of the temperature, causing some of them to go extinct. Coral mortality brought about by warming temperatures that the corals can't cope with, and which really destroy a lot of the habitat some of aquatic species rely on. Polar bears and other Arctic animals pretty much are experiencing a lot of habitat loss and a lot of limiting range in their hunting and foraging because of the decreasing amount of sea ice. Additional scientific literature I found was some microorganisms were tested, their biodiversity, and they pretty much were negatively affected when they're increasing temperatures. Also, climate change reduces biodiversity caused by disruption on species populations and ecosystem dynamics in Africa. And there's a positive correlation between increasing temperatures and species loss in China for animals and plants in Colorado. Um, Pretty much both the on book and off book sources state that agree that climate change is literally destroying a lot of biodiversity and causing animals to go extinct and lose populations. And we have so much more to learn about ecosystem dynamics and how much species we have. And the book briefly touches up on wildlife, possibly using wildlife refuges to kind of help out biodiversity a little bit through pockets of isolation that they can't be touched. And thank you so much.